this is the agenda that we will go over today. Yesterday, we talked about a lot of topics, right? But at the end, we did touch upon the formatting of your CSV file to get imported into TaxDome. So I'll do a quick recap about that, and we'll actually walk through the process of importing. We'll review what actions you could do after you import, which are really, really neat actions that you can do in bulk instead of doing individual basis as you might have done before, like emailing or messaging, right? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about our communication features, how those are important, how you can utilize those, and we'll also talk about organizers. Yesterday we talked about items like proposals, engagement letters, right? Which are all in the same feature, by the way, proposals/engagement letters. They're for you to edit. Today, we'll talk about organizers. Usually, when we set up a pipeline, the first two stages require some sort of input of information from your client. So that would require documents, information to be filled out, and accepting your terms, right? So usually it's a proposal engagement letter and an organizer. So we'll talk about organizers and how to manipulate those today, later. So let's talk about the formatting of the spreadsheet. But before that, Katie, do you want to give us a quick refresher on the differences here between contacts and accounts?
Absolutely. So accounts are the whole entity you're going to interact with. This is who you're going to request documents from, where you're going to do your chat messages. If you look at the contacts, you're going to think contact information is we're going to have each person as an individual. You're going to have their separate email addresses, their separate phone numbers. You can have multiple contacts per account. And so if you have a couple, a husband and wife, you're going to have 2 contacts. If you have a business, you may have 5 contacts. So you can have the one account and you can have as many contacts as necessary to fulfill that account, depending on how many people should be part of that account. So just think, the best way to think about it is contact equals contact information.
All right, great. Thank you for that. And we had a question. Somebody wants to clarify whether it's necessary to create 2 separate accounts, like 2 separate logins, one for the business entity and another one for the personal. So no, you don't need to create 2 different logins. The purpose of the CSV file is to group your accounts together, and if there's one business owner that you also do their personal tax for, then they will have only one login and be able to toggle between both accounts. Okay, so that's the importance of creating a contact client. So we'll go over that in a second, but that's a really good question. Ideally, for example, if you work with somebody that has 3 businesses, we wouldn't never want them to create 2 different passwords to log into TaxDome. Ideally, they should just have one login. It can be their personal email or their business email, and they will have access to both their personal account and their business accounts. Okay, so we'll look at that shortly. And one of the most important things also that I like to talk about is the tags. If you notice there on the screen, there's a smaller image there. Those are tag examples and the use cases, right? You can have tags mean whatever they can to you and your team. You don't have to use our suggestions, but these are some nice suggestions that you can use, right? For example, if you have some sort of tiers that you apply to your clients, like gold, silver, bronze, packets or services that you offer, then you can tag your accounts that way. You can tag your accounts if they're English speakers, French speakers, right? Or if there's any languages that you need to pertain to or lean toward, because you can always create templates that are geared toward that language. And we'll talk more about conditions in a pipeline, because you can have a condition that says if they have a Spanish tag, send them the Spanish engagement letter, right? If that,
You can also tag those difficult clients.
oh
So
yeah,
you can
exactly.
tag the ones that are slow to respond. But the difficult client ones can be very important, especially coming with a new person joins your team. You want them to know who those difficult clients are so that they can have more patience with them and know that um, it's going to take that patience. It's going to take a little more TLC
Right.
to get what you need, and that they may respond unkindly, but that's just who they are, and it's not the new employee who did something wrong.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense, because if you have your business have been running it for, I don't know, 10 years, you already know who the clients are, and who you need to work with more carefully, right? I'm going to go back to that sheet, and I'm going to remind you here that when you are in TaxDome, you're going to click on import, and then you can download that sample file right here at the bottom um, right hand corner. Okay, so that's the sample that I actually have downloaded and started showcasing yesterday. And this is it. Yesterday, we slightly changed some information. For example, the Simpsons, we changed it to LLC, just so I could show an example in case this was a business, right? So in case of the question that we had earlier, right? So in case that Homer Simpson here, right? Let's change this up. I'm going to delete some of these contacts. I'm going to leave just two, because I want this to be just Homer and Marge Simpson. This is the account that is more um, it adheres more to reality. You have couples, right? That's pretty much the reality of it. So when you have a couple, the account is better to name it as the couple themselves, right? They are the entity of the husband and wife. So we have Homer Simpson here, and we have his information. So I'm going to highlight this. That's his personal information. So this is his contact information. He's part of this account, but he can be part of more accounts. If I want Homer to be part of another account, I'm just going to copy his information. And if I need him to be part of this business called the music store, then yes, I am repeating his contact information. It doesn't mean that I am duplicating anything. It just means that I want Homer to be able to log into his personal account, and I want him to be able to log into this business account. Okay, so that's why we take his personal information and bring it over to the next entity that he needs to be a part of. So this is how you would apply multiple, um, you know, contacts to one entity. Say Marge also wants to be part of the music store, then I would paste her information and just duplicate the title of the account. Now we have three individuals that will be able to access this account, and they only will have one email to log into. So when they log in, TaxDome will say, hey, do you want to log into the music store, or do you want to log into your personal account, right? So that's how that works. Now, in certain cases where you do have that file that spits out a spouse like this, um, so we have the main information of the main you know tax client that you have, but their spouse is sectioned off into their own columns. Ideally, we want them to be under in here, like here, right? It's Marge, Homer and Marge Simpson, and then Marge Simpson, Homer at the top, Marge at the bottom, and we have the title of the accounts next to them. That's the ideal way of generating the CSV file. If you feel that you can do this manually, that's great. I wouldn't want you to. There is a macros that we can share to you. That's something that will benefit you in the long run. So let me showcase that quickly because that actually is an Excel sheet. So let me show you how that looks like. We'll have this available to you. The handout will have some information, by the way, regarding this. So there's some instructions on here already, but this macros only works in Excel, by the way. You can't really open it in Google Sheets. So if you have the ability to use it as like an extra, help for you, then great, just to organize. I'll quickly show you how this looks like, and then you can explore it later on when you have, the ability to open this up. So this button here, the start button, will trigger a process in which it will switch over the information. So for example, if you look at the bottom here, let me make this a little bigger. If your information shows a spouse column, whoops, the spouse column here, we want that ideally to be showing up like this, right? It's John and Jane. We repeat it twice, and we have John's information and Jane's information. So this will do it automatically for you. How you ask? Well, you're going to go into the input section. You're going to paste your information. If you notice here, we have the first and last name and email and phone number of your main taxpayer, and then their spouse columns on the right. So you can literally copy and paste them in here. And in the output section, it's going to correct them for us. Right now it's blank, obviously. If you have a sample that you obtain, you can just delete. You want to make sure that the output is clean. And let's see this in action because I want to make sure you understand what I'm talking about. So let's look at the input. This is how my tax software, spits out some information. I copied and pasted some of the columns that are essential, like email and phone number. That's really what I need. I don't really need more information for now. And this is it. This is my main taxpayer or client, and this is their spouse. But I need the spouse to be down here, and I need an account name that merges their name together, right? So by clicking on this, it will select column B and column F, which is their name, and then we'll merge them together in this specific format. So let's click on Start and show you how this looks like. So it looks like it's done. And now when I go to the output, notice that it successfully created the accounts how they should be. We have the repeated name formatted correctly. We merge their names together, and then we have contact one, which is the spouse, and then the second person in the account, right? Same thing for this second example. We have a couple that are joined together, and then here we go. We have an account name generated, and we have their contact information merged as one.
So we
So
have a lot of people asking where they can get this spreadsheet.
yeah, this spreadsheet will be available in the handout, and we'll give you this pop-up that shows up on here called Download Macro Sheet. If you see it on your screen, you should be able to click on Download Now. Hopefully this is helpful. And this is nice for future imports that you might want to do. So keep this handy. It's just a little extra that information we want to give you just to make things easier. But even if you don't use this, it's okay, because we can do something called a double import. So what we would do is import all of this information of the first taxpayer or client, and then the second import will say, hey, we already created an account. We just want to make sure that we add the spouse information. So we can do something similar with a double import, but this obviously makes it easier because it creates that account name for us. If you don't have this account name, like John and Mary Jackson, something like that, it'll create it for you. So this is really, really nice to use. And even if it's just this simple data here, you can copy this and then make this, expand this, like add another column here and add your tags, so on and so forth. So hopefully this is helpful for you, especially for those of you that have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients, right? Remember, you can separate what is your business import. You can do a business import with just businesses. You can import just your personal accounts, right? It's up to you, but I will show you how to start that import today so that you have a better idea. Now, this import that we're going to do, if you are on a pro plan or above, you should be able to get our census. We could upload this on your behalf. I think the biggest work here is you making sure that CSV list is filled in with the correct information. And as long as that's true, we can help you out and upload this for you. Like this import that I'm about to show you, we can do it on your behalf. Again, this is for the pro plans or above. And what you can do here is when you say request assistance up at the corner, there will be this pop-up that shows up. Let me show you. So again, when we click on import, up at the right, top right, request assistance will pop up a new window. And
So
this
it looks
has,
like, I'm sorry, it looks like the macro sheet is actually available under offers, not handouts. So for
it's
the
under
people who are,
offers.
yep. So for the
Oh,
ones who have
perfect.
not been able to find it, it's actually under offers.
Right. And they should have a pop-up that pulls up. And somebody asked, do we need a separate email and phone number for a spouse account? Yes, absolutely. If you can, right? If you don't have that information, then I suggest you tag the account like missing email or missing phone number if you need to grab that later. But at least the first and last name is essential. If we want to grab a signature from them eventually, we do want to get an email address from them. That will be something really, really important in the long run so they can get notifications as well. All right, so if you need that assistance of us uploading this on your behalf, not formatting the file, this is really your data. You provide us the data, and then we'll make sure we import it correctly. The form is right in here. You can open this up. It'll open up a form for you to fill out, and we can help you this way. Otherwise, just focus really on formatting that CSV so that we have the right information that we need, right? All right, so coming back to the sheet here, we already kind of messed with this and edited yesterday, right? So what I'm going to do, since this is a company, I'm going to drag this down here. I'm going to export this exact file that we manipulated. And remember here we have 3 businesses. We have 2 businesses as a music store and Moe's Tavern. They're the only ones that would have an address because they're my only businesses. And we added some custom fields like client ID and date of birth. Again, you can add whatever you need to. And here, for example, we want to make sure to add if it's a company, an individual. Again, you can have a whole sheet that it's just individuals, a whole sheet that is just businesses, it's up to you. You can do multiple sheets and multiple imports. So what I'll do is I will save this. I'll download this as a CSV.